Hello, everyone. Welcome to Life Out Loud. I'm Junie Moon, your host, and I am so excited for today's show, and I'm so glad you're here joining us. Today is going to be amazing. But before we dive in, I just want to give you a brief intro to who I am and what this show is about. So I am a certified shadow work facilitator and transformational coach, and my mission is to help people get out of their way so that they can stand strongly in their soul purpose, so that they can shine and be everything they want to be in this world. So I help people change some of those negative behaviors and self-sabotage so that they can really live fully. And I do that individually. I do that with workshops. I travel around the country. So if you're interested in finding out more about my work, you can go to my website, which is innercritictamer.com. You can even grab my ebook there for free, which is How to Tame Your Inner Critic. And you can find out a lot of information about me there. So if you'd like, you can go there. But I wanted to let you know also why I created Life Out Loud. So because I so want people to be able to shine their light and live fully, I thought what a cool idea it would be to have this platform where I invite other transformational leaders of our time, people that are making a difference, people that are walking their talk, inspirational, really real, like solid people that are touching people and making a really big impact in the world today. And you will not be disappointed with the person I have today. And luckily, I not only have her on the show, but I have known her for many years. We actually met years ago, and here we are back together doing this. So let me let you know who she is. So her name is Reverend Goddess Charmaine. Doesn't that sound lovely? And she is. She was ordained by the New Seminary, which is where we met, a school of interfaith theology in New York City. She is a trained Reiki master, crystal Reiki master, certified hypnotherapist, trained aromatherapist, and tantric energy specialist. She primarily focuses her energy work through shamanism, trained by Kenneth Ray Stubbs through the path of the sexual shaman, all levels. That sounds amazing. She's led workshops in the tri-state area. And for those of you that are not in this area, tri-state means in the New York area, because that's where we are, since 1992, and is continually increasing her work as a facilitator of personal empowerment through her workshops, such as chakra intensives, goddess rituals, second Sunday and clothing optional, that means naked church services, and various others that continue to support empowerment and erotic enlightenment for all. And she does this online and in person. And she's also written 2 books, The Sensuous Mystic, Uniting Sex and Spirit, and The Goddess Scrolls. And we're going to be talking about that, obviously, today, about how to unite sex and spirit. And also Sacred Erotic Tales that inspire and enlighten, along with her ongoing radio blog talk show, The Sensuous Mystic, which airs live Wednesdays at 8 p.m. So we're going to talk about all of that and hear all of that she has to offer. So let's get her on the screen, the Goddess Charmaine. Hello.
Hello, Junie. Thank you for having me. Goddess blessings, everyone.
Oh my goodness, it's such a treat to have you here. You know, we met many years ago. I guess it was about 21 years ago,
yes.
Because I didn't have the baby in my belly when I met you, and he's over 19. So we met a long time ago, and then, full circle, here we are doing similar work, empowering people. So how about you give me and everybody else here a little glimpse into your journey to this point, because my guess is you weren't born this fully expressed. Well, maybe you were, but then it was probably squashed, because that's what happens. What's been your journey? How did you become the Reverend, sensuous, mystic Goddess Charmaine?
Yeah, you got about a day or two. Well, I could say for me, I started asking questions at a very young age about certain things that were going on in my life. And I am very thankful and grateful for that kind of self-awareness. There are certain things that went on in my life as a young person that I was like, well, I don't think I'm supposed to be witnessing this. I don't think I should be feeling this way. Shouldn't adults be doing that? At a very young age, I knew certain things that were going on in my life was wrong. But something that really was always consistent in my life and brought me to peace was at nighttime, at the foot of my bed, I would lay a pillow on my windowsill and look out into the sky. for some reason, Joni, I'm telling you, it was just my meditation as a young person. I looked into the sky and I would find myself becoming one with the sky and would just kind of fly in the sky. And somewhere in there, I got this message that I would be okay, just keep coming here. And so some kind of an altered state of consciousness that put me in peace and put me at rest, no matter what was going on in my life. And that I always felt a knowing or a desire to know God. But even as a young person, I also thought God was goddess. I was like, well, I need to find some identity, some way to relate to who I was. I mean, God is a masculine figure. Santa Claus is a guy too. Where are the great people that are women that are always here for us? And so I think I had these things going on in my head, and it led me into being very open and sometimes manipulated in spiritual ways. You know, but then I did still, I was very, very strong Christian for a very long time and found some healing and connection with that. But then I got into this place where I wasn't necessarily, I was never against sex, but I believed at a very young age, like around 16, that sex wasn't a sin. Not that I was even having sex, but I started questioning sex. I'm a young person. There are things going on. People are misusing sexual energy, being overly sexual, under-sexual. Sex is a sin. A whole lot of confusion. But it led me to ask real questions about it. And I really believe that was really the place that started me on my path of empowering myself and my young body. Natural things, getting married, having children, and being very somewhat what I call demonic, trying to find my spiritual path as a woman, as a mother, as a lover. And then I ended my first marriage and met a man that was a nudist and a Buddhist, a Zen Buddhist, Zen Buddhism, studying Zen Buddhism, not, you know. He really helped me really learn how to meditate even better. I started meditating before I met him, and which really empowered me to get out of my marriage. I lost a tremendous amount of weight and really knew that in order for me to make changes in my life, I had to stop looking outside of myself, but come within. And that's where I really believe my meditation helped me to tap inside of myself. And I did that on my own. Led me to meeting this man who brought me out even more. And then as our relationship grew, I stepped into learning more alternative ways to take your power back, in a sense. And it led me to all kinds of like learning about Tantra, studying Reiki. And then I was happy to be led to going into seminary. And then from there, seminary really, you know, the cool thing I think about our school where we went was it's interfaith. So we learned a lot about different faiths, different lifestyles. And it was really great to learn, like, how did they even manage to masterfully live that kind of life? I was like, you know, to me, it was just like one or two ways to live, you know, being Christian or, you know, other things, but not like tantric and shaman and all these things. So I was really happy to be able to learn all this in seminary. And then by the time I got out of seminary, I started doing my aura cleansing and studying hypnosis to help people with sexual problems. I worked for a sexual healing center in New York City. And then we really became tantric. I was able to meet Margot Anand and learn from her and other people. And then by 2000, I had this aching issue about sex and like more should be happening. And how do I keep learning this? And I went into spiritual counseling with Reverend Peter Georges to really help me understand the goddess, because every time I would meet people, I would do my Reiki work with them. I would do aura cleansing. I'd do card readings. Sexual stuff kept coming up. It just kept coming up. I said, well, goddess, why is this coming to my door? It was because I could deal with it. So in order to fully deal with it, I felt that I needed to understand more about goddess. And I went into counseling and Reverend Peter Georges for really intensive for 6 months, along with even straight therapy. What was very important for me with straight therapy and spiritual counseling was to be able to say, well, do I have a sexual problem? Am I a sex addict? Why is sexual energy popping up around me? And I really feel that I did my due diligence, my responsibility to know who I am. And in that, I realized and I researched about goddess initiations. And that's when I was planned and prepared with Reverend Peter Georges and another priestess to do an initiation ceremony. And in that, it was very strong, and I was convicted in my spirit, in my holy body, to unite sex and spirit. Beautiful. And that's really where the sensuous mystic comes from, because the sensuous mystic is a person sees God, goddess in everyone. Life is, if you are alive, you have the creative spirit that we call God, goddess, all that is. And the sensuous part is even when we become sensuous or sexual, we become altered. And that altered state is where God lives, where the goddess dwells. That's that feeling I get when I used to look outside into the sky when I was a little girl on the windowsill. It really brought back that peace and that oneness and that soaring through the sky like an orgasm. I'm like, this is it. I knew this at 6. So it came full circle for me in 2000, being initiated and ordained in 96, initiated in 2000. And now we're here 2016, making miracles happen. And that's how I got there.
Wow. What a journey. Absolutely. Yes. So there were a few things, well, there were a lot of things you said that were like, And before I forget, the chat room's open, guys, if you have any questions, right away. So one of the things you said was you were open and you were manipulated. So I'm curious what that meant to you. And also you mentioned the word demonic in relationship to sexuality. At least that's what I heard. So could you talk a little bit about what that meant to you in your journey? Because I'm sure a lot of people are dealing with similar issues. And here you are, the sensuous mystic, and you've had some experiences. I'd love for you to maybe go a little deeper into that.
Yes. Well, when I was between 13 and 16 mostly, which is really our strong adolescence time, I think young people, that's why, young people think they know so much, because in a way they do, but it's not really completely grounded in our body. We're not really solid in our foundation of who we are, but we have a lot of insight and understanding. And I'm in church. I was fundamentalist, born again Christian, and I was going to Bible study, and I was reading the Bible and interpreting scripture. Then I started getting information about sex, and I started to say, no, I don't think masturbation is a sin. No, the scripture, no, how can two people make love and have children and feel shame? Well, when you're in church and you're shouting Holy Spirit, you're throwing your dress up, your legs are spread, your boobs are popping out. I think we're trying to be sexual and no one's really honoring that. They say, oh, no. What are you saying? That's wrong. So you got a demon in you. I said, what? A demon? I thought it was a question.
Oh my God.
And a demon or a demonic spirit is something that is against life. So when they say someone has a demon in them or they are demonic, they are against their life, or they are carrying on a consciousness that is against their life. So at this young age, I was starting to ask really smart questions, but I was also open enough to be influenced by people that I thought were better than me or superior than me or smarter than me or more spiritual than me. And so at this time, the minister of this church said that I had a demonic spirit because I was questioning their message. And so at first, they started praying for me and laying hands on me to pray away these demonic spirits.
Right. I mean, how dare you question?
Yeah.
Right there. How dare you question? You must be demonic.
And when I couldn't think, I said, well, how am I supposed to grow? Am I supposed to just be a robot? I mean, I knew I'm supposed to be able to think. Am I responsible for my choices? How can I not lean on my choices with the answers? So first, that started happening, and I was letting myself be told that these things were wrong and trying to do what they said to do, like go fast, not eat, and not talk on the telephone for days so that the demonic spirit wouldn't be able to continue to take hold of me and I wouldn't be against my own life. That was the first part of that. Then going further into it, it was, I started to then try my best to live this lifestyle of sex could be wrong or whatever. I went into my marriage trying to be this fundamental way. And all that happened to me was I got fatter and fatter and even more demonic, where I'm drinking more, I'm eating more, I'm not being healthy.
Yep.
And so the actions I started to take were more anger or negative about my own life and the way I was relating to the people that I loved. And so I realized that the sin that was being created in my life was the actions that I was taking place and I was doing to myself. It wasn't even no longer about what the church was saying. It had already taken hold by that spiritual abuse or by that demonic way of being. And I had to take back my power, I say, in my pussy and my heart, and ask God to forgive me. And I had to ultimately forgive myself. Yep. Then I stepped into going into that way. And that's really what's really powerful, that we really have what I consider righteous judgment. We are really the only ones that can judge ourselves. Sin, going to bed not happy with who you are. Righteous judgment is this choice or decision I make in alignment with who I want to be and who I am. That's how I was able to learn and make the changes that were acts of power, that were also not hard to I didn't just flip and I was better. Each step took me, closer and closer to this person as Reverend Goddess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I answered all of them.
Absolutely. And what I love is that you knew something at a young age. You felt it. It was something so real to you. And it didn't just disappear for you. It was always kind of there. And a lot of people feel it, but put it away in a box, and it's like not accessible. And what I hear is it was like poking you all the way through, and you had to keep asking questions. It wasn't feeling right to you.
My spirit wasn't resting.
Right.
How can I be at rest? If you're telling me I'm supposed to have these guides or everything, then I shouldn't be suffering so much.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
Without the strength to make the changes.
Right. And as many of my viewers know, I also ate my way to peace. Food and sex were definitely things that I used and abused because I was not in alignment. I was not feeling like I was living in my right place. Exactly. And I was uncomfortable. So I totally get it. I resonate. I'm just so grateful for you and everyone that gets touched by you with your wisdom, that you kept asking the questions and knew in your heart something was off. So we actually have a couple of questions. So let's see what's here. All right, let's see. Carrie, gosh, I got to start wearing my freaking glasses. Horrible. Carrie asks, as somebody who had my first experience with a shaman 2 weeks ago, wahoo, and it seems to have opened a door, I'm very open to advice in terms of exploring this. Where would you recommend to start? And before you answer that, Charmaine, what I would like you to do, being that today's topic is uniting sex and spirit, to maybe, kind of include that piece in it, because our viewers are tuning in for that too. So maybe guide her where to go with that, and kind of weave in that other stuff as well. Is that okay?
Yes, baby.
All right, good.
Shamanism ultimately is about being able to vibrate to be like. So I've always taught, even before I started studying heavily with Kenneth Ray Stubbs, which I would recommend, I always knew in order to impact this reality, you had to go someplace else. That's the whole point of sex, altered state of consciousness. See, God isn't from this reality. It is beyond this reality and the next. So in studying, being shamanism, and having her say that she has been affected in a positive way just in the last couple of weeks means whoever she's working with, she's starting to raise her frequency, raise her vibration. See, sex raises our vibration. You see, and so when we do that, and then in Tantra, we talk about merging and becoming one with. So that's why I always tell everyone, that's what it's about. Everything we do is coming back to love, coming back to sex, coming back to being one. When you want to make love and merge with a beloved, with a person, you're really accessing that divinity within you that is really connected to the earth, air, fire, water, plants, animals, crystals, humans. That's really what we're doing. So shamanism teaches you how to be light and vibrate like others, and all life energy. So that's why it's a powerful tool or development that we all have, an ability that we all have. People that are dog whisperers, horse whisperers, crystal whisperers, they're vibrating like that. So now as a shaman, as a sensuous mystic, I can vibrate with the frequency of the lingam, even though I'm a female. I can vibrate with the frequency of your yoni, even though I'm my own woman.
Okay, I know lingam, I know yoni. I know lingam, I know yoni, but I know there's a lot of people that do not know those words. So educate, and then tell her where she could go find some shamanic guidance.
Yoni and lingam are the Sanskrit words for yoni is vagina, lingam is penis. And that's when I'm saying yoni and lingam, I'm just keeping it more like PG. And,
this doesn't have to be PG, baby.
Okay.
Just keep your clothes on.
okay. See, thank you for saying that too. Yeah, I love the I always say my pussy's in the sky, because my consciousness is growing and expanding. And when I say my pussy's in the sky, it is the power of my pussy consciousness merged with my heart. That's all life energy. That is when Kenneth Ray Stubbs, who is the sexualshaman.com, is a teacher for all the levels that I've taken with him on ongoing. And his path of the sexual shaman doesn't look like sex in the fact of a lingam yoni, but it is of the sexual energy that he believes that we're all created from. Mm-hmm. And then we merge with that as shamans.
Yep.
So yeah, it's power in it, and there's power in Tantra Tantra is a way of action, and my sensuous spirit can merge into other people's bodies through Reiki, through really highly in my shamanistic work. I can see into people's energy and bodies and see their sexual shame and guilt, see their sexual powers. And sometimes I just want to shake people. Sometimes I don't want to see it.
Yep. Cool.
That's that one question.
So where might she go that you would recommend?
I would say sexualshaman.com. Checking out Kenneth Ray Stubbs' Path of the Sexual Shaman. I may see her in groups there if she ends up becoming a student.
Awesome. We have a whole bunch of other questions coming in. So Tiffany, blessings. I'm in a place where I feel like I cannot quench my sexual drive, but it's like I feel ashamed by masturbating so much. I'm single and find it very hard to give myself to someone else sexually, having just left a manipulative relationship. I feel so torn. I'm so sensual. Oh, that's a great question. Tiffany, thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing that with us. So what do you want to let her know?
I say first off, Tiffany, congratulations for real for sharing that out there like that. I have YouTube videos and Vimeo videos that explore all united sex and spirit and talking about shame and guilt and thirst and hunger. But most importantly, Tiffany, I would first bring you into developing a sadhana, a sexual sadhana, where you are doing a sex ritual for yourself, where you are self-loving, masturbating to the point where you feel like you're going to come, but you don't come, you stop, you hold it back. Then you feel and imagine that orgasmic sensation to come crawling into your heart. You want to merge your sex and your heart center. See, that way you're going to be able to have the power to work through the guilt and the shame, and you step in your full power and making yourself a holy, sacred woman through your pussy power, because your pussy is trying to tell you something. So when you do the stop start, means stimulate to the point you feel you're going to come, and then stop touching, and then bring your hands to your heart and let that sensation to orgasm just crawl up to your heart. Then when the sensation to come passes, do it again. And then do that 2 or 3 times. And then after that, let yourself have your orgasm. Let yourself imagine that orgasm as a bubble, the orgasmic bubble, and float in that bubble. Then ask your orgasmic bubble, what do you want me to know? And it will just speak to you, and you'll start to feel the healing and the power. And you'll be able to discern through your own holy body which man is right for you to share your holy body with, which man is right for you to pray over, let yourself be prayed over and anointed. That's where I would say. And go to my videos. They often talk about the things that she's been asking.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love pussy power. I love the orgasmic bubble. This is getting juicy, people. And she also said something else, which I think you just answered. She said, "Where do I find the balance of being with, sexual with another and being true to myself? I want to free this sensual, sexual within me." So I think you pretty much said that, and that's great.
And don't skip steps. Take time to love yourself and be in that bubble before you want to share it with another person, because you're really merging consciousness.
I think that's a big piece that we have not been taught in this culture, which is the most important relationship, which is with ourselves. How do we love ourselves? How do we connect with ourselves energetically, physically, all of the different levels? Because if we don't really know ourselves and we aren't able to really tap into the truest sense of who we are, how on earth do we share it? How do we invite somebody else in? So right on. Felicia, hello, Felicia. Everyone's probably seeing me like squinting. This is horrible. My eyes are so sucky. Getting old sucks. Okay. Was there ever a time during your journey you felt a frustrating level of being misunderstood? Oh, this is great. Misunderstood and doubted by others that repressed, did not understand, or misunderstood the sensuous mystic and sacred feminine in you both? Oh, what a sweet question.
Girl, it's true. How many of you follow me on Facebook? You know how many times they shut me down because people are reporting me? They're calling me mean. On YouTube, I get called, "You're a demon. You're leading everybody to hell." Yes, in my journey, I have lost friends because they said that I was not right with the Lord. I have lost men that says, "Something's wrong with that woman. She's crazy." It only leads me to the right people in my life. I have been afraid. There's in 10 or more years into my journey, believing my path and manifesting my divine birthright of prosperity on earth, I still had things come up that scared the hell out of me. And a voice said, "What if you're wrong?" So yes, it does come up. And you have to recognize something. We often challenge ourselves as well. Sometimes people out there are just speaking what's really going on inside of here. And if you have an understanding of how the universal mirror works, you will ask yourself the question, do I really feel this way? What this person is saying about me? And I can answer at this day, hell no. But back in the day, it might have been somewhat. You know, so really, that's why the meditation is important. That's why self-love is important on your own. So you develop that discerning spirit that knows who you are as a holy body person. I can't share myself out here. Like they would say, when the cup is overflowing, we can give to others. My cup is half empty. I cannot. And I need to take time to take care of myself and have the courage to do that, to deal with the things that people out there, the haters, say. And the more they shut me down, I come back in another way, and because I believe that I should, because 10% are out there asking for me to be there and to help them, and they have all demonstrated their love and respect of me, even when the haters are there.
Right. Exactly. I mean, and I think it really does come down to just, again, knowing ourselves and knowing what really is our purpose, what is our truth. Because if we're solid in that, people can't touch us. If you know something with every ounce of your being, people can't touch you, and you're going to keep going because it's who you are. You can't not be who you are. So if you know it, you got to be it. I mean, I've been doing this whole naked thing myself with the body painting and doing my video about shedding the shame and loving myself no matter what. And I've had some people that have reached out and have kind of stomped on me a little bit. And there was actually a day where I was a little vulnerable. My tank was a little empty just because of some other life stuff. And it was like, ouch, that hurt a little bit. But then I bounced right back because it's like, well, wait a second. Who am I? What's the message here? I'm all about revealing. I'm all about vulnerability and having people see me for who I am so that they have permission to be fully who they are. I mean, that's the message that I send out. So darn, I'm going to be vulnerable, but I'm going to be vulnerable that's in tune and in alignment with who I am completely.
Exactly.
So, same for you. I mean, your work, I mean, you embody your work, embody in all ways.
Yep. Have to.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your radio show and all the work that you're doing right now that people can learn how to unite their sexuality and their sensuality and spirit together. You know, how are you doing that with people?
Well, back in the day, I had my private practice 101 for 20 years in New York City and in New Jersey, and I wrote a book. My first book, The Sensuous Mystic, Uniting Sex and Spirit. And both of my books are on Amazon. You just type up Reverend Goddess Charmaine or the names of the book. But really what is powerful about the first book is that these are actual case studies of people that I've worked with. These stories were the ones that shocked me the most. That I was like, I can't believe this is in front of me. What? Really? And all those people, and a lot of them didn't like me. Some people only came for one session, but they all taught me something. And so I would say that's something that by writing that book and putting that out there, that was a way for me to be able to share my truth with others. And in a way that shocked a lot of people. My mother to this day still tries to figure out, you get naked with them in the session? You sing and that clap, Mom, just read the book. So then, and she read it. She's still asking, and I do my best to explain it to her. Then I have my second book, Sacred Erotic Tales. Now, this is something that's been incredible that I've shared with people over the years. Every full moon for years. That's why this book is so big. I do a full moon offering, a full moon ritual to the goddess and thanking the goddess for being in my life and living that truth and being spoken to through great goddess and then into me as living goddess. And so I would write these erotic fantasies all based off of truth. So any erotic ritual that I did or I witnessed, I would take a piece of that, which is every story is based on truth. But then I expand it like crazy into this erotic fantasy that alters the person that's reading it. So they can go into an altered state of consciousness, and most of them experience the orgasm from the goddess through the full moon. That's ways. And then I have my second Sunday services. We've in our 17th year now.
Wow.
And yeah. That's been people have been coming for years for that. And then clothing optional services. I do seasonal now. I used to do it once a month for years with Isis Phoenix, another way. And then workshops. We have Holy Body Pujas. We have Naked Trance Dance. And they all come and go. And ultimately, I'm really stepping fully into my feminine medicine now and working with women and initiating women into their goddessship. Also, men can be initiated into their goddessship as well. We all have inner male and female in us. And so when people are being initiated as goddess in the way that I am doing it, they are embodying the goddess in the living form and acknowledging it to the world. And it's been a really big thing. So these are ways that I'm continuing to do it, and joining festivals and living my life. I'm married. My husband and I, he's very much in support of my work and loves me. He is my sacred masculine husband, lover, partner, friend. And so that's how I continue to live and manifest and share myself, is by being goddess, living my life as a married woman, and doing my best to help my friends and my children with all the struggles and the pain body and the love body. So everyone can see I expose myself because it's important, and people give me strength too. And I think the world goes around that way.
Beautiful. What would you say has been your biggest challenge of doing the work that you do and being out there in such a big way, in a way that this culture definitely has a big pushback with?
The biggest challenge was April 23rd, 2007, when I was arrested. And it was printed in the papers, and I had children. And I was concerned about my son, concerned about my daughter, how they'd be able to handle it, and really having to really step into dealing with this negative aspect of what because I told the newspapers are calling me. They said, "You're a prostitute?" I said, "I'm a goddess." And they put in the paper, "A goddess prostitute arrested." And Junie, I tell you, I was like, "Thank you, goddess." They said goddess. Because if they had just said prostitute, I would have, Lord have mercy.
My God.
I was so happy they said at least goddess, because I know I'm goddess.
Yeah.
Goddess, mother goddess, ghetto goddess, but always goddess. But coming into this and having to deal with lawyers and deal with the system and coming into owning my own spirituality, I would say, as a mother looking to protect my children and deal with the people I'm working with, and as a woman, I had to stand in that truth and do what's right for my family, for my kids and myself. And I think that is the biggest thing, having a partner, a man that knows who you are as this goddess woman, and then being looked at in the system as someone that is crazy or wrong or could go to jail. And so I would say that was my biggest challenge. And to having dealt with that and gone through that process, 9 years later, to be initiating women into their goddessship on the very day that I was arrested, says to me the manifestation of my truth. And don't worry about the darkness. The light is still coming through. Keep doing your best. Keep honoring yourself. Keep honoring people. And I would say that has been one of the biggest challenges.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, this culture, we're so open-minded in America, so open-minded, free-thinking, free-spirited, and frankly, I think we're so conservative and very challenged.
And very afraid.
Yeah, the fear is massive.
The fear is heavy, Seeing a woman, especially a single Black woman at that time, people didn't really want to see me prospering, and they wanted to find something wrong about me, and they weren't right. They were wrong.
Yeah, well, people like to put people in boxes so that they can understand what's going on and define them. And, we're undefinable, definable, especially you and me, for sure.
Yes, that's right.
When it comes to sex and sexuality, I mean, I've been in different arenas. I won't go into details to protect the innocent, but I've done some interesting things in my life, and I've noticed such shame in this arena. So even when people are talking about sex, you'll be at a restaurant and they're like, "And then we had sex." It's like why do we have to friggin' whisper about that? But there's still so much like, ooh, I don't want anybody to know that I have sex. So how do you work with people that have so much shame around that? Because, man, people are carrying a lot of baggage around this.
It's through my work. It's really through my energy field. I tell you, even my straight girlfriends, when we get together, somehow we all end up talking about sex. And they have thanked me so much in their relationship with me. They say, "Char, I'm so glad you're my friend. You're my goddess." My girlfriends honor me. They say, "You're my goddess. You help me so much with my husband." I don't talk to their husbands about sex, but I talk to my girlfriends about sex. And together, for some reason, they can talk about it with me. We can dance together. And they may not come to my clothing optional parties all the time, or my naked parties or my naked church. But together, we'll talk about our bodies, we'll talk about our feelings, we'll talk about sex, and we talk about how we uplift our men, uplift our relationships. So we talk about sex loudly when we're together.
Yeah.
So I've been able to.
And when we put it out there, I mean, it's like, well, I'm a shadow worker. So anything that I believe we're hiding, it takes a lot of energy to hide it, to not be it, to push it away. And we're missing out on so much. When we put it in front of us and we own it,
Yeah.
It's like so freeing.
Yes.
I mean, it's really painful to not be fully expressed.
It is.
Sexuality and sexual energy. I mean, oh my God. And when you tap into sexual energy, how it opens us up to spirit. I mean, that's what we're talking about. This is our vital force. This is our vital energy.
Yes. So I think my beingness has been really a way to bring people into a safe space. Because even before I became goddess, or even in seminary, I would be on the bus going home at night from New York City back into Jersey, and whoever sat next to me, I want to read my book. Next minute they're telling me their life story. I'm like, how did this happen? So people always want to tell you things about themselves. So I've been able to be that kind of person that, as I learned and grew, I could lift that energy up and release people from feeling ashamed of talking about anything.
That's beautiful. Absolutely. Exactly. To lift that shame up. And, sometimes it really is just holding the space for someone, this non-judgmental, loving space where they know they can really be heard and not feel like they're being judged and criticized. And you obviously create such a beautiful space for that. I know you have an offer a gift to give to our listeners. Why don't you tell people how to find you? And I'll put up the link for what you wanted to offer.
Yes. If you go to my website, I am thesensuousmystic.com, sensuousmystic.com. On there, you can sign up to be on my email blast. You can also contact me. If you contact me, write me and say, hey, goddess, I want your breathing love chakra balancing meditation. And one extra. I have one called The Holy Body. I think Tiffany is the one that called in and asked the question about uniting sex and spirit. The Holy Body is my hot meditation. That's bringing in arousal. But whether it's arousal energy or breathing, it's bringing in the energy to go through the chakras, the chakra balancing. So if they go to my website and contact me and ask me for breathing love or Holy Body, I'll send them one of them as a gift.
Beautiful. Beautiful. What would you say has been your biggest surprise in opening up to this energy and becoming whole as you are today?
The friendship, the people that I've connected with that have become my lifetime friends. It hurts when you lose friends because they say they don't like who you are or you're not right with God, and they reject you and disown you. But in this path, I have met so many beautiful people that have become my lifetime friends, including my husband. And in that, meeting friends that may not necessarily live this path or live this lifestyle, but they're my friends and they love me and they don't judge me. I've been able to meet people that are open-minded, but not necessarily a nudist, but like I call them my straight friends, but they have a heart like mine. And I think that's the biggest surprise, that I have more friends and more fulfillment and more support of who I am because of this work. They know I'm true and authentic, and they're true and authentic in their way. And I think that's been my biggest surprise.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I always, I look at who surrounds me and I see how I'm doing by who surrounds me. And it sounds like you have some pretty amazing people around you for a very good reason. So that's great. So we have a comment again from Felicia. Thank you for this webinar. What you are talking about is something I've experienced and experiencing in my sensual sexual goddess journey. I'm getting a lot of the negative comments and backlash from folks because I choose to walk this path and walk this journey with no shame and apology for it. Yo, sister, that's awesome. Oh my God. It's to be able to really walk our walk and talk our talk without apology, without the shame. It's a courageous walk. I mean, not everyone's going to get us, and we do lose people along the way. But we create space for people that are of quality, that really will see our truth and we will see the truth in them. And that is the greatest gift, I think.
Support yourself. Be your best friend. I do the journaling. I do my affirmations. I do my anointing. I don't stop the acts of power because it helps.
Yep. So we have a few more minutes. Is there anything else in reference to tools? Maybe you mentioned the meditation, so definitely go pick up her meditation and some of the breathing. Is there anything in particular like that would be a good individual exploration exercise that they could start doing right now, which would be so exciting?
I think everyone who is following Reverend Goddess on Facebook, on Instagram, on Periscope, on YouTube, on Vimeo, because because y'all even get tired of me saying it. But I'm always talking about the body anointing, the fivefold kiss. So that's something I think right away is just the most wonderful thing you could do for yourself and for your lovers. So the fivefold kiss is you would kiss your fingers, and then you touch your feet and you say, blessed are thy feet. And then kiss. Blessed are thy knees. Kiss. Blessed is thy sex. Kiss. Blessed is thy heart. Kiss. Blessed are thy lips. Now, Junie, back in the day when I was dating men that weren't really so into Tantra, didn't know whatever was going on. I loved it. I'm going out with these guys and nice, and I want to have sex with them, but they're, you got to use a condom because I can't have that. So I said to them, I always have to anoint them before I have sex with them. They don't know what I'm talking about, but they ain't going to say no.
Honey, if you want to have sex with me, I need to anoint you in 5 special places.
Exactly. So I asked them, the first time I did, and it really took me a lot of nerve to be able to ask them, but I knew I wouldn't be able to be with them if I couldn't anoint his body. So I said to him, can I anoint your body before we have sex? He said, sure. So I anointed his body. We made love. Do you know that after we had sex, and like I said, he had the condom on, and after he's lying there, he's like, well, I then after we made love and we had sex, I placed my hand over his body and I said, and great Goddess, please bless his seed. Because I believe that if you don't give the seed into the woman's body, it's in the condom, you have to at least bless it, acknowledge the life.
Very cool.
He laid there, he's like, wow, what do I do with it now? He didn't feel like it should go in the toilet. He wanted to lift it up in the sky and place it on the altar. He felt anointed. He felt
my goodness, that's great.
So that's what I say right away. Fivefold kiss, y'all.
Love
Bless
it.
your bodies, holy body. That's what we're about.
All right. That's great. I love it. And I love that. Bless the seed. What do I do with it now? That's great. Carrie said, I love the fivefold kiss. That's awesome. Yes, that's really great. So what's next for you? What haven't you done yet in your life in this realm that you would like to manifest that hasn't been manifested yet?
Okay. This year I'm stepping into my full medicine. My spirit animal is a turtle, which is Mother Goddess, working with women. And I am looking to do more things online because my husband and I think we're going to be doing a lot of traveling. So I want to be able to help people and do a lot of online workshops and make a lot of money in a short amount of time. I want to see that miracle take place and just continue to just meet people all over the world. And I see 1,000 people in Naked Church. I see 1,000 women being initiated to goddessship. I see men stepping into the goddessship. I'm also thinking about writing another book. And for my husband and I to continue our opulent, exceptional lifestyle together as husband and wife, traveling and blessing and doing my work. And him doing his stuff too, because he's really good at what he does. That's what I want to see manifesting. I believe Goddess is laying that on me strongly. And it's mostly the goddessship and then erotic spirit readings. I'm stepping more into reading people again too. Yep. So that's what I'm seeing coming up for us.
Beautiful. Okay, so we are, believe it or not, hold on a second, I lost you guys. We are at time already. So I just want to remind everybody to go to the sensualmystic.com. Did I get that right?
TheSensuousMystic.com.
TheSensuousMystic.com. Okay, so definitely go there and see all her juicy offerings and connect with her there. For my work, innercritictamer.com. And oh my God, Charmaine, this has been so special to have you here. You glow, you shine. Your message is beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us here today.
Goddess blessings, everyone. Thank you, Junie.
Yes, and everyone that's here, thank you so much. Go shine your lights, express your heart, connect to that sex of yours, and live fully. Woohoo! Be well, everyone. Take care.